Hey guys, it's Josh Silla. Welcome back to my channel. As promised, here's my workout video and my short shorts as promised, just for you. Now, I am wearing those copper socks from Amazon, and I just wear a jacket because I sweat a lot and I get very cold. Alright, so let's get started. First, we'll go ahead and start off with hamstring stretches. Now with this, I like to keep my legs nice and straight. What you want to do is keep your back straight. We'll go ahead and reach for the back of the calves. Try to put your chest as close to your knees, and then try to stand as straight as you can. And you push. Go back down, stand up, try to touch your toes, see where you land. Not quite there yet. So we'll go ahead and do it again. Feel free to repeat this process as many times as you like to. And here we go. Now notice my face is turning red because this hurts. This hurts like hell. So just keep doing it till you feel good, nice and limber, almost there. Good enough. We'll go ahead and repeat this process many times as you like. Now you'll notice that these videos are looped, and that's just so you can follow along. Alright, so let's try to reach. That's fine. Good again. Alright. Move on to doing some roll-ups. These are pretty simple. After your hamstrings are loose, try to reach your toes and you slowly roll up, with the neck being the last thing that actually straightens out. And we'll go side to side. Now this is to loosen up your lower back. You probably haven't done any of these movements since you've injured your leg. So we're just getting our body back into tune. Get those kinks out of your neck. Again, we're doing the process all over again. And with this, typically we recommend about 10 times. Nice and slow. Again, the neck being the last thing that you straighten up. And roll your shoulders a little bit, feel it. And again, neck being the last thing straightened up. Another loop for you guys, just so you guys can kind of stay in tune. Just keep doing the same motion over and over. I know this might seem a little repetitive, but trust me, you'll feel a lot more limber after all these. Alright, so this stretch is going to be for your upper body. Don't really know what it's called. I call them the front dives and also the standing skydiver. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and drive into your knees, and you're going to be stretching everything as far as you can and keep your head in line with your arm. Again, keeping that weight on the back of your heel and pushing. Open up, pinch that shoulder blade together, and dive again. Notice how I'm sticking my butt out as far as I can, as far as I'm able to dive forward. That is to just keep my back nice and flat. Don't look at my hill, buddy. It's pretty small. Diving forward, just so you can see what it looks like. And you open up. Dive. And open up. Oh, I guess I'm tired. Again, another repeat for you guys, just so you can kind of see what's going on. Again, keeping the shoulders back, diving as hard as you can forward, sticking your butt out to keep your back nice and flat, and keeping that weight in your heel and your neck in line with your arm. All right, so last one. Let's show it one more time. Going to the front. Opening up, big stretch, big pinch. The shoulder blades and dive. And I think I'm done. All right, so these ones are pretty simple. Just give your neck a little bit of love. We're just gonna do some regular motions, side to side, and then down, and then a tilt side to side. Now I like to do these motions a few times. Don't over force yourself to turn in these certain directions. You just want to do it just enough where you can feel a slight stretch. Reason why you don't see me look up is because I heard that that's kind of rough on your cervical spine, especially if you've been laying in bed all this time. I don't really think that you should be forcing yourself to look up. I just don't find that reasonable. So just get yourself back in tune. Next stop is trunk rotations, just because you probably haven't made this motion in a while as well. You want to keep your heels on the ground again, chest up, try to have your shoulders as straight as possible. Make that rotation. Once you do these slow ones a few times, start to get into rhythm, and then you can start actually moving side to side. Now the reason why I start off slow is because it may apply too much pressure to your knees, and that's because you are rotating. So go ahead, and once you get comfortable, go ahead. This next is going to be called creature stretches. Now, it looks very strange, and that's why it's called a creature stretch. What you're doing is you're grabbing the back of your calves, squatting with a flat back, sticking your butt out as far as you can, and as you push out with your elbows, you're pushing in with your knee. Now what that's going to cause is going to force you to stretch your lower back. And also you're going to be activating some muscles in your legs as well as your chest and your back. Go into a smooth, easy calf stretch, most definitely needed. Going to do single legs. You most definitely use a wall while you're doing this. Just step forward and straighten the back leg out, driving those heels into the ground. Now I did add a bit of a more difficult version, and you can do this with a bench or just like me on a wall on your elbows. You have your knees slightly bent, and then you're going to try to straighten your legs as hard as you can. Now as you can see, I'm shaking profusely, and it's because it hurts. Go ahead and repeat this process anywhere from 12 to 15 times until your calves feel nice and loose. Again, there is that harder version with both legs. By all means, if you feel ready for it, give it a shot. But even with me, you can see that I still can't even completely straighten my legs out. So just take it easy. This is just a close-up of when you're doing two legs. You want to really drive those heels into the ground where you can actually wiggle your toes because you're just driving directly off your knees. All right, so into the workout. I like to do a quick activation. So, I have a Hank Hill ass. I like to activate my glutes first. So what we're doing is bridges. Try to get yourself nice and flat as you're doing these glute bridges and really squeeze those butt cheeks together. And once you feel comfortable, you feel like you can, start doing single legs. I roughly like to do, if I'm doing both legs, I roughly like to do probably about 15 to 20. Single legs, I go anywhere from 8 to 10 right now, just to level that mat. And then we're going to go ahead and superset those with crab walks. Pinching claws and sound effects are usually Mando, but this is an informative video, so we're just doing little pulses at the end. Right now I'm doing 5 steps, and then a little pulse. All right, so what we're getting into here are single leg half lunges. Now, typically I do this mainly for the balance and just trying to get some strength back into my knees as far as being able to do a pressing motion. You can see how bad my back leg is shaking after just doing a few. So, rear leg, you're going to be on your toes. Your front leg, you have all your weight on your heel, and you just do a half lunge motion. All right, so moving into squats. Now, typically I like doing box squats, even for my level right now. This was a little bit low. I usually recommend to have something a little bit higher than this, especially when you're just starting off. I mean, even if you went like a quarter down, that is a good place to start. As you get stronger, just keep on going. As you can see, when I do the squat, the reason why my hands are out is for balance. I typically still don't have that down completely, but I try to keep my back as flat as possible. And when you do that press, it comes straight from the heels, and you're squeezing your cheeks all the way up. Arms back out just for the balance. Squeeze the cheeks, and you're good. Now, typically for these squats, something this deep, I usually wouldn't recommend to do over 8 times in a row, especially if you're in your 4th month of recovery. But if you had something a little bit higher than this, try to run at least 10 to 12. Now here I am doing donkey kicks, and we are supersetting them with fire hydrants. What I like to do is I like to do donkey kicks on one leg, and then do the fire hydrants on the other side, and then vice versa. Reason for this is to just kind of help with the balancing and also not putting too much pressure on one leg for too long. And it's a nice way to just keep it from feeling too repetitive. Notice how I can barely do the fire hydrant. It's because my legs are still extremely tight. We're doing good mornings. And notice I try to keep my back as flat as possible, which means I can't go as deep as I'd like in the good mornings. And then at the top, you try to squeeze your cheeks as hard as you can. And I would typically repeat this about 4 or 5 sets of 20. Now these are modified mountain climbers. The reason why we are on a higher base is just to keep our toes from bending too much, because that might be a little too painful, especially for our ankles. Normally I would do anywhere from 15 to 20 repetitions and 4 sets. Good for the abs. Here I'm showing you guys modified push-ups. Again, modified so we don't bend our ankles and the toes too much. Takes a lot of pressure off of there. If you had a box or a chair, it would be way better. Now the second version of these push-ups, this is a little bit easier just because it takes a little bit more pressure off the toes, but it is focusing a lot on your shoulders. Now we're going to be doing modified Supermans. Now I'm going to show you a couple variations. This is going to be a straight down pull while you're squeezing your shoulder blades at the top of your contraction. And then we have a lateral pull down motion, again squeezing your shoulder blades as tightly as you can. Now I will do another set where my arms are a little bit open. I like doing this because it makes me feel like I'm actually doing a lateral pull down. Find what fits best for you and utilize it. So something that we're probably lacking is a lot of core strength because we've been bedridden for so long. So I'll show you one of my favorite core exercises, and this will be called a boat hold. Now it's pretty terrible, and you can start off with doing maybe 30 seconds at a time, running maybe 4 or 5 sets. But I look very unhappy doing these. What you do is you're going to be squeezing your core as if you're going to do a setup, but only a quarter of the way, and you kick your legs up, bouncing on your tailbone. Now, if if you do want to make this a little bit more difficult, you can flutter your legs, but I highly recommend also having a watch pretty close by, just so you can keep the time, because this is a terrible, terrible, terrible feeling. Notice my whole body shaking. It's probably been about 15 seconds. I don't think I was ready for those flutter kicks, but I did them anyways. I did it for you guys. Look how sad I look. Oh, there he is. He's dead. Yep. So guys, for that exercise, did want to let you know that beginning portion of the warm-up, I typically do that 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once before my workout, and probably once before I go to bed, just to make sure I stay nice and limber. The workout itself, of course, this was a little bit on the easier side of what I do now, but there's most definitely a lot that you can pick up from this and just apply to whatever your recovery routine is now. But I wish you guys the best. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I will see you guys next time.